told me when I was young.
I thought that was a good intro song. It's time for our feature. The next half hour, she will take you on a journey like you've never experienced before, because it is a journey into her life, into her words, into her music, most of all into her crazy spirit. She is a chick to deal with. Bio. Eman Rimawi is a Black, Native American and Palestinian woman who lives in New York City. She began writing poetry and prose early in life. Her natural creativity steered her towards becoming a spoken word artist, educator, and youth organizer for dozens of nonprofit organizations in New York City, including the Audre Lorde Project, Fury, Casa Atabex Ache,
Yes.
Casa Atabex Ache, the Jet Foundation. She went on to teach creative writing, community organizing, history, and political science workshops to youth in New York.
Woo.
She's been focused on organizing around disability rights and staying true to her passion for community connectedness and proven strength. She started Amped Up, an organization that helps disabled people to be creative and live lives they love through fashion, creativity, and social gatherings. She is also putting out graphic novels and children's books. Graphic novels and children's books. Interesting. Where disabled people are the main characters, as well as facilitating workshops to support businesses who employ disabled people to better support and interact with their staff. Eman joined NYLPI as its Accessoride campaign coordinator and organizer. She organizes around making Accessoride better for their customers, as well as advocating for people with disabilities. And I'm going to add a little bit of my own history with Eman. In the late 90s, early 2000s, I had an open mic in Queens called Wild Wednesdays. And one day, in walks in this, I don't know, should be a model young lady, or what the fuck you doing in a bagel store? She should be on a runway. Somebody discovered this incredible model. But then she pulls out poetry, and she had a guitar, and she sang, and she did this poetry. Her words are beyond her ears. She's been an old soul since she popped out of her mother's belly, and I mean, sometimes you're just born a journey. You're just born a journey. You're born to take people to your journey. She co-hosted Wild Wednesdays. No, she co-hosted the Poetry Beat. After Wild Wednesdays, Eman co-hosted the Poetry Beat with me at the Greenwich Village Community School in the West Village with Frank Robinson. It was an amazing experience. I welcome to you Miss Eman Rimawi. Take over the stage.
What an introduction, Viviana.
Woohoo!
Okay. Well, just so you guys know, when I walked into that open mic, I was a scared 15-year-old.
Yes.
And I am now a grown-ass woman. That was a very long time ago that
Yes.
Viviana and I met. So I was so happy that she asked me to grace the stage. I see some familiar faces in the audience, which I'm very happy to see. I'm very happy to be here. I focus a lot on, as my bio said, working around disability justice. I've been an amputee 4 years, and that's sort of, for all of my sort of minority identities, being an amputee has been the worst I've been treated. But through that, I found my strength and my voice and my ability to still be a smart ass and a big mouth and use that to help other people, because even through that, I don't take shit from anybody ever. And I don't think I ever will. So, yeah. And, you know, I'm always happy to perform, and I've been a performer probably longer than I've been performing. I'm going to be 34 in a few months, but I probably probably always been a performer, and I always feel at home on stage, which is sort of funny that happens that way. And even though I love it, because I take my job very seriously and I lead that campaign, I don't get to write that often, which kind of sucks. So some of these poems are going to probably be as long as I've known Viviana, 15 plus years old. But they're still oldies but goodies. And folks who have seen me perform multiple times will, oopsie, I'm clumsy too, just so you know. Yeah, people who have seen me perform multiple times will remember some of these, and I hope you enjoy. So I usually do my I Remember poem, since it's a good introduction into who I am. I can say, yeah, my mom's Black and Native American and my dad's Palestinian, and I look Dominican, my Spanish is horrible. But that's not a good explanation of me. And but this poem is, and it's one of my favorites that I've written. I Remember Family Gatherings, Part 1. I remember sips of strong black coffee, Arab coffee, no milk, no sugar, bitter memories in a cup, and that's the way I like it. We sat in the back of this old, dark red Oldsmobile that smelled like cherry car fresheners that should have been thrown away months ago. We'd go, sit, feed, pray, they are our blood, but they treat us like the needy. I remember pushing to the front, had to be the brave one, had to go first. Little brother never felt brave enough. Old country stations mixed with Sunday afternoons of Habibi Bakbak and Kalthum the Great. Peach cheeks and cookies with sesame seeds on them, running barefoot on pale marble floors, cold when you put your face on it. Discussions of whose child was smarter, bigger, better, braver, but in the end we all lost out. We were all dark beauties, light skin, tainted eyes, soft brown locks. I remember. I remember talks alone with my cousins, all boys, few girls. We'd sit up at night, everyone downstairs, we in the attic. I wanted him to hold me as a sister. He wanted to follow the family and have a wife, and so I left, never to return, always to return, always to return. I remember. I remember Southern fried chicken and fresh cornbread, conversations the back in the day, nigga please, flew from person to person. Men sitting in their undershirts and work pants, beer in one hand, possibly a child sitting near the other. Every sentence starting with baby, let me tell you, or nigga, you don't know. Wild laughter roaring in every direction, thin dark children running from porch to yard to place to person. I remember glimpses of talk, who knows if I was meant to hear. Nigga child as light as them white folk. Grandma Nora and Ivory never let anyone get away with it. They tell them to step, and if they didn't, they'd catch a beating. I remember trips back in that Oldsmobile. Men sat barefoot, cross-legged, laughing respectfully, keep halak and alhamdulillah flying from mouth to mouth. The women wore long skirts, sat on the other side of the room, feet covered, feet planted on the floor, little smiles, adoring, hateful eyes at their husbands, their cousins. And I was the only child sitting in their father's lap. He did it to show off. My mother rarely came to these types of gatherings. There'd be no mix of talking children, no women showing skin, men drinking and smoking, throwing nigga please around. There were no niggas here, at least not on the outside. Sitting at tables with khubras and black olives, plates of tan hummus and tea being passed around, piles of meat, rice filled with walnuts and cashews racing at your nose. I remember big breasts and tank tops, rocking chairs in the yard, grandpa covering oil from his car, James Brown on a nearby radio station screaming, it's a man's world, but it ain't nothing without a woman. It's a man's world, but it ain't nothing without a woman. And I remember wearing frilly dresses, posing for pictures I would never see or understand until years later. I understand now these memories that hold me like a cup of coffee. And I remember never liking to take sips of black coffee, and so I mix lots of sugar and tons of milk, giving taste and flavor to the bitter memories, and that's the way we like it. That's the way I like it. So that's me, in a nutshell. And so I'm the oldest of four. Three from my mother and father, and then my dad had another kid who's full Arab with his other wife. And we're a cute little bunch. You know, most people think that we're a Dominican family since none of us look anything like each other. And my sister is probably 5 shades darker than me, as is my brother. But His kids are the cutest little kids you've ever seen in your life. And I'm telling my boyfriend, who's in the back over there, always like, we never know what we're gonna get. They could look like me, they could look like her, they could look like their children, they could look like one of my cousins. We don't know what we're gonna get, and it's okay. And I'm all right with it, it's fine. And that's just how it works. That's when you're mixed, you don't know what you're gonna get. And I'm excited to get my 23andMe things because I have a feeling there's something else in there that I just don't know about. So I'm excited to see what there is. I'm pretty sure there's some, like, I guess some of my lightness from like old slave masters, and I have a theory about all that, but that's for a whole other time, whole other poem and all that. So yeah, here's another poem that I enjoy doing. So as Viviana mentioned, I used to carry around this old school Carlo Rovelli, which was the love of my life, my guitar. And because my hands are now doing their own things, I don't play that often. But I still enjoy singing very much. And so this is a poem that has some singing in it, and it's super cool. It's also something I wrote when I was a teenager. It's called Ancestry of Song. Oh my Lord, 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 Lord. Oh my Lord. Wait, let's start over again. I don't think I have enough water. Oh my Lord, 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 Lord. Oh my Lord, 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 Lord. Oh my Lord, 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 Lord. Please take me home. My back is broken, Lord, Lord, Lord. My soul is aching, Lord, Lord, Lord. Family's breaking, Lord, Lord, Lord. Please take me home. I can feel the glow of them now, watching me now. Women of color, my color, bleeding my spirit onto the earth. They bleed fire now, showing their true heat. They are strong and bold, bringing me to my highest plains. I am growing with them, becoming my own flowing river. They call me Fire Red, child born of earth and fire red. She's an owl's daughter, wise and knowing. She sees more than human eyes can predict. And I can feel the glow of them watching me now. And they are singing my life song. They are singing my life song. Walk with me, Lord, Lord, Lord. Talk to my children, Lord, Lord, Lord. Be near me, Lord, Lord, Lord. Please take me home. I am in their place now. Backlashes for speaking in my tongues. Beatings with white fists because of my olive dark color. Rapes because of my face and my youth. I sit now. Only she can hold on to me. Only she can save my dear life. Only she can take me from these things. The horizon stands solid, still. I make wishes on the shapes the clouds make. I am simple yet complex to them. They call me a devil, evil bastard. But my parents aren't of the earth. They are of the sun, the moon, and the stars. And they shine at night through old dirty windows. And I am in their place now, peaceful in my mind. And they are singing my life song. They are singing my life song. Oh my Lord, 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 Lord. Oh my Lord, 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 Lord. Oh my Lord, 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 Lord. Please take me home. The water washes over my body. I sit freely on the earth that is mine but was taken from me. I am Fire Red. My birth name is not dead. My birth name is not dead. They tried to take my moon and stars from me, but it was not allowed to happen. I stood tall, watched my family die, and still I stood tall. I am Fire Red. My name bleeds on sands of time. My voice screams out to all of mankind. My face is the one you see every time I die. And every time I sing my song, you will feel the ache of my ancestors. You will live in my ancestry of song. Look into my eyes and tell me what you see. Look at my face and tell me time has not taken a toll on me. I am fire red. My name is what I speak. Tell me I can come back to my land. Tell me I wasn't wrong. Tell me my people can come back to their land. Tell me it wasn't the fault of all of those who are man. Tell me I am fire red. The water washes over my body. Voices begin a tale. And they are singing my life song. They are singing my life song. Oh Lord, 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 Lord. Oh my Lord, 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 Lord. Oh my Lord, 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 Lord. Please take me home. I can breathe now, Lord, Lord, Lord. I can see now, Lord, Lord, Lord. My mind is clear now, Lord, Lord, Lord. And now I am free and coming home. Now I am free and coming home. Thank you. It is hot. I sweat a lot. That's how you know I'm Arab, because I am always sweating, even in the winter. But also chemo 4 times. But mostly Arab, hot, always. So yeah. This is a newish piece. I think I will, or a few years newish, I guess. I guess you can call it that. I will take a little seat so I'm not so sweaty. It's the beauty of having a walker like this. You can just sit when you need to. There we go. All right. So one of the fun experiences of being an amputee, except being part robot, no, I'm not actually part robot. Although people do think I am part robot, I'm not. I didn't get any fun superpowers and no superhero. They do come off, so it's not, that kind of thing. Not actually bionic. But one of the fun things is that people start to treat you like you're not even a person anymore. And then they don't even want to talk about it. But I talk about everything. And I talk about things to people's face all the time and they don't want to hear it. And I'm like, sorry, I'm going to talk about it. And it's just one of those fun things that, for example, when you're suddenly disabled, not only do you not have any kind of relationships, but you don't have any kind of sex at all. You can't have kids, you can't have a job, you don't have places to go, you don't go out to the bar or with your friends or anything like that. And I'm just like, how does it even make sense to anybody? Like, I'm 33, I have a life, I have friends, I have a boyfriend, we do things, so why would I? What does losing my legs have to do with my lady parts? Nothing. But suddenly people think that you're not a person anymore, which is awesome. So I like to remind people on a regular basis, and I've been called a bitch plenty of times, because people like to ask me funny things in the street, and I'm like, would you ask that to someone else with legs? No? Then don't fucking ask me. Right? Yeah, people don't, if y'all came with me like a few days, I work on 30th Street, and just observed, you would see some shit that you would not actually believe happens, which is funny. But I wrote this poem because, it's just one of those frustrating days, once again, when someone was like, you're so brave for what? Going to work? Sitting outside? Just like living. Oh, I'm brave for living. I didn't know I had a choice. Oh my God. Wow. And then when they like look at me when I say that, they're just like, bitch. I'm like, actually, you're the bitch, but whatever. They don't think that I can still have my attitude, and no legs are required with attitude. That's all. I always joke with Will, like sometimes I'm like extra spicy for some people, and then sometimes I'm like regular spicy, and then like I'm diet spicy. So most of the time, I just can't do diet spicy. It just doesn't It doesn't taste right to me. So I'm always extra spicy. Like, why not? That's how I came out the womb, and I just can't not be extra spicy. So yeah. So this poem is called I Am No Longer a Person. I am no longer a person, a woman, a human. I am only to be pitied, to look down upon, to be thought of as less than, as needy, as other. I am no longer a person. Folks barely look at me, just my legs, not my face, not my ass, not my body. I am just metal legs. Who knew I'd miss catcalls in the streets so much? I actually don't, but whatever. I am no longer a person. I am around for parents to point at when their kids are misbehaving, saying, that is what will happen to you if you don't listen to me, which has been said. If you don't eat your vegetables, if you don't pray, don't, because I'm a punishment. So be good. Be good before you catch my cooties. You can't catch lupus. Or could it be possible, maybe, that I am just a person, just a woman doing my best like everybody else? That I deserve respect too, that I am not a robot, that my legs are not just attached to me. I get no upgrades or superpowers. I am just me, capable of what any other woman is capable of too. I feel, I bleed, I cry, I love, I exist. But to you, I am just metal legs. I am no longer a person. And it fills me with such anger because I still feel. ... One of the amazing things is that people always assume that when you become disabled later on in life, that you suddenly don't want to live. And I get that. I went through my 2 months of depression after I first lost my legs, when I was finally home and alone with myself and my thoughts. But I snapped out of it because I remembered who the fuck I am. I'm a powerful person. Period. It took me a moment to really remember that. And, some people think that I forget. Or men hit on me and think they're doing me a favor. And I love that. So, because you know the answer they got. And it's just amazing to me that they think that they can say the things that they say to me. And I'm just like, I can say some things, but I won't. I'm just like, really? Do you talk like this to other women? Oh, well, I would. Really? Like, just don't. I'm not interested. I don't want any. And even if I didn't have a boyfriend, I still wouldn't want any because you're gross. Simple as that. So for my job, I went to the VA hospital on 23rd Street. I walked down the ramp to the corner, going across the street to Starbucks to sit down for a minute. And this guy follows me from the front entrance to the corner. And it's like, oh, hey, how you doing? What's up? And I'm like, oh, yeah, fine. Oh, are those hard to learn? I'm like, no, it took a while, but I learned them. Oh, well, you're so pretty. You're so very pretty. I was like, yeah, I know. You know? What? Did I stop looking in the mirror? I do that like every day. I don't know what. Oh, well, some women just they don't understand how pretty. I was like, bruh, I understand. I get it. And then I'm like, you have a nice day. It's all good. Because, I'm not ageist, but he was like 70-some years old and had no teeth. And that is sort of a prerequisite for me, at least some teeth. At least some. And so then I go across the street, and I go in there, and then who do I hear behind me except this dude? Oh, funny running into you here. And I'm just like, did you just follow me into this? Oh, I'm sorry, I just want to ask you out on a date. And I was like, that's not how you ask somebody out on a date. And I have a boyfriend, so I'm really, really, really not interested, but thank you, bye. And the guy in front of me starts laughing, and I'm like, how is that funny? Because guys think that they can just follow you because they can, and how does he know that I wasn't just going to kick his ass? Like, people think that I'm not like I always joke that I'm like the Terminator, I'm really hard to kill. But I dare someone to mess with me one day. So I just want to know how it would feel for someone to get freaking kneed in the face with my prosthetic knee. Because sometimes y'all think I'm not a violent person. I'm really not. I'm so peaceful. I love kitties. I'm so like chill. But sometimes these dudes like really make me want to like knock them the fuck out. Sorry. But yeah, and I was just like, so I stayed in that Starbucks for a few hours to like mellow out a bit. Cause I was like, wow, dude, you didn't really give a shit about my personal space. You thought you were doing me a favor. And then I walked back later on, he's like, if I had some teeth and I was younger, you'd be mine. And I was like, no, I wouldn't. Dude, like that's not, just good luck with that. You keep doing that. It didn't work on me, so I don't know. In any event, I digress a lot. I feel like I always have stories going on in my head that are like continuously going, and I don't actually pay attention to what I'm supposed to be doing. But it's okay. All right. Okay, so this is another I Remember poem, and this was the second one after I wrote that first one about the black side of my family. And it's called I Remember Hot Combs. And I know some of y'all know hot combs. I got my ears burnt on plenty of occasions. That was awesome. For those of you who don't know, my hair is back right now, but I have a big, giant, curly fro, which is, it's hot, so I, put it back. In any event. I remember nappy fro bonds, trips in the kitchen, hot comb on the stove, hair grease in a green jar. They always got the chair, you get the floor. Little hands and elbows planted on their knees as they combed through the naps you inherited. This was a rite to passage, showing that you were now a woman, now among the grown folk. I remember loving my curly locks as much as they did, and they did, wild yet easy to get through, easy to touch, easy to feel. I remember watching from the corner. We'd play each other's hair, wrapping little curls around little fingers, pretending we knew what we were doing when we braided each other's hair. We'd made cornrows look lopsided until we were in our preteens. We talked like the grown folks, playing them, taking on their roles, beginning every sentence with nigga please and way back in the day, as if we went way back. But we did. Of course we did. We were the voices of our great-great-grandmothers and their children. Always and forever in their voices. I remember waking early just to smell the morning, to sit beside, behind, beyond this blood that was woven into me. I can feel these nappy fro bonds, missing those trips to the kitchen. I'm no longer smelling the hot comb on the stove. I remember dancing wild, no braids, no hairpins in our hair, soft winding hair whipping back and forth as our hips shook and our arms waved and our voices sang of another time. And we began once again as those southern bells, some of us lighter than the others. I remember nights of singing and humming imaginary songs about life and love, made up words, yet it all made sense. It all made sense. We knew what we were talking about, and yet we had no idea. What did children know about that? What did children know about any of that? How did we feel so deep, dancing and singing, while our wild froze gave way and came to our shoulders, little curly hairs wet from dancing, sweat on the back of our necks. I remember these bonding feelings through my fingers and wishing dreams. We all wanted to weave our families into our hair, into our movement, into our souls, into our blood. It's been long since someone placed the palms of their hands on my scalp, pulling with their fingers through my hair. I remember wanting to put the grease in my mouth just to taste the sweet smell because it was oily and sweet and slippery. Times when black was honestly beautiful and we could play beauty parlor in the kitchen on the floor. No distractions, just us, just our voices harmonizing, just as we were, and made up stories flying back and forth. I remember. And I think talking, y'all, a long time. Yeah. I talk. There you go, I talk. A lot. That's how you know I'm gonna be one of those old ladies on their porch, just like talking to all the kids running around, all the cats in the neighborhood, and we know where to get their food. That'll be me. I know that'll be me. I joked with Will that when I'm retired, I'm gonna get a cat farm. I swear to God, I'm gonna get a cat farm. And I'm gonna bring all the kitties there. They're all gonna be taken care of and happy and wonderful. And I'm just gonna make sure that they have what they need. And that's my future. There you go. It's been recorded. There you go. So yeah, it's been written. It will be. So yes. Okay. It's my last I remember poem, and I just want to thank you guys for accepting all my craziness and my rambunctious talking and my cuss words. And I always have to watch my mouth at work. It's so hard. Like when you have to like be a professional. And you're so used to being like, motherfucking piece of shit. No. No. Not when you're at a law firm and not when you're dealing with lawyers from Goldman Sachs, which I never thought I was going to do, but I am. No. So yeah, professional voice. Or as I like to call my indoor voice. Yeah. I remember part 3, Dance of the Hips. I remember learning the dance of the hips. It was the move, shake, break of the hips. We'd begin at the wrist, turn, then twist into the soles, into shapes of our hands. Bodies exposed, and this was the only time our bodies were seen. And even then, it was done behind closed doors. I remember hands on my waist to release the tension, to loosen the movement. Feet and hands must be as one, they would say, like this. And they would bring my arms above my head, move them over my head, move my feet as my wrist bent. The music was no longer there. They were the music. I remember red lips, under covers of silk, beads and jewels and bells and shiny things that meant something to us. Belly toys and blackened lips. We were born with the hips, dancer hips, wide, accompanied by slender bodies and little bellies. I remember our ankles jingling as the bells shook, and our hearts and our souls shook as well. Unleashed beauties like our ancestors, like the dance, like the blood, like everything that we passed down from woman to woman, child to learn. Beat into our bodies like the hearts in our chests, like the stomps of our feet. We were taught to teach our little girls about their hips, before their roles as wives, before their roles as mothers, before the burden of childbirth. I remember the dance of the hips. It was the move, shake, break of the hips. It began at the wrist, and it began with this bond, the only thing that made our blood worth continuing. Thank you.